Well, good morning, everybody, and happy Sunday. Welcome to the Technology in the Workplace. This is a four-part series. This week, we're going to be talking about Microsoft Word. If you do have any, questions, feel free to put them in the chat or turn your microphone on, your camera, whatever is best for you. I can also allow you to share your screen with us so that if you are having issues, that we can take a look at that. I did email you 2 documents this morning that we will be going through. So if you want to go ahead and pull those up, that would be awesome. We are going to start today with a blank worksheet. For those of you that have not attended any of my Lunch and Learns, Accelerate, or any of the learning webinars that I've offered over the last 3 years for the new space, my name is Julie. And I'll be your facilitator for the 4-part series, Technology in the Workplace. So welcome, glad to have you. If you have any questions, feel free to email me at jduspace@gmail.com. That would be outside of this presentation, is what I'm referring to. So feel free to reach out to me if you have questions. So when you open up Microsoft Word, what you're going to see is just a blank page. And on the blank page, you're going to see multiple ribbons, and these are called the ribbons: the home ribbon, the insert ribbon, the draw ribbon, the design ribbon, and so on. We'll go through each one of these and look at the main features of each one of these. Each one of these. And as you're looking up here, as you're looking at the different ribbons, like you might not have developer, you might not have Grammarly, and that's just fine. I have some additional ribbons because of the training that I conduct. If you need to add a ribbon, I can certainly assist you with that. That is not a problem, but if they're not there, don't worry about it. We're not going to get too terribly detailed. I will show you how to include the developer ribbon, though, because that is or can be a very useful tool in Microsoft Word. So I will share that with you. All right, so I just wanted to start with the very basics. And I'm just going to put in here. It is Sunday, April 7th, 2020. Okay, so I just put a simple sentence in. If you would go ahead and put a sentence in so that you've got some data to work with. I am going to go ahead and increase or zoom in a little bit here so it's easier for you to see. The first thing I want to talk about is highlighting data. So I went ahead and I typed in is Sunday, April 7th, 2024. And what I want to do is I want to focus on, first of all, on selecting data. So it used to be years ago that when we would select data, we would start at the very beginning and pull to the right, or start at the very end and pull to the left. That has somewhat changed. As a matter of fact, if you want to make an edit meaning a format edit, to any one of the words in Microsoft Word, all you need to do is place the cursor within that word. So if I wanted to change Sunday to a different color, maybe I wanted that to be in a green, well, let's go with purple, in a purple font, then I could select that by placing my cursor inside of the word. It is selected. Another way to select something is to double click. So if I hover my mouse over the word April and double click, I can go in and I can, increase the font size maybe of the word April. If I want to select the entire paragraph, and now I realize I only have one sentence in here, but if I want to select the entire paragraph, I would triple click. Oops, there we go. I got a little bit click happy there. So if you triple click, it's going to select the entire paragraph. And you can go in and you can make your changes. Maybe I want this to be in 16-point font size, and I want the whole thing to be in purple. So you can make those adjustments. So there are various ways that you can select words or paragraphs in Microsoft Word. The other way, if you've got a large amount of data that you want to work with, you could do a Control-A as an apple, and it will allow you to select the entire document. Okay, So I'm just gonna go ahead and show you one more way to select items. If I pull my mouse over, right now I have my Ivy. If I pull my mouse over to the left in the margin, my pointer will point in towards the document. And I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to click and it will select just that line. Now, right now I only have one line, but if I had multiple lines, I could pull down and it would select as many lines as I wanted it to. So that is another option for you to highlight items in Microsoft Word. Excuse me. Okay. So let's start over here in the clipboard group and we'll move our way through and kind of talk about, what are some of these items in Microsoft Word. So on the clipboard group, you have 4 different options. You have copy, you have cut, you have paste, and you have format painter. If you're going to make multiple copies of something, if you want to copy something, so in other words, you're going to leave the original in place and you're going to make copies of it, then you can click on copy. It will put it on what's called the clipboard. So I'm going to go ahead and click on copy. You'll note that the keyboard shortcut is Control-C. You can see that in parentheses as I hover my mouse over the word copy. And when I click, you don't see anything happen. Sometimes that scares people, but don't worry. It did copy to the clipboard. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring up my clipboard. Let's clear that and let's copy this again. Why didn't that go? There it is. Not sure why that didn't go to the clipboard the first time. So what you can do is you can have up to 25 items on the clipboard. Even if I go into different applications, whether it's the internet or, another Microsoft product, and I go in and I copy something, it's going to be on my clipboard. The clipboard can hold up to 25 items. If you haven't used Microsoft Word or a computer in a while, it used to be that you could only have one item on the clipboard. If you copied a second item, it would replace that item. Now you can have up to 25 items. And if you do copy a 26 item, it's going to replace the first item. Those items will disappear or delete if you do a couple of different things. If you choose to clear all, it will clear those for you. If you log off of the computer, if you reboot the computer, it will clear all of that memory. The items in the clipboard are in the RAM. It's called the random access memory. So sometimes if you copy something very large and you go to quit out of the application, your PC may say to you, are you sure that you need to keep this on the clipboard? And the reason that it's saying that is because it's so large. It might be a large picture or a large document, and because it's going to bog down your machine. So if you don't need it anymore, say no, and the PC will delete it from your clipboard, and it won't drag your computer down. Okay, so that's the clipboard. Usually I don't open that. I'm going to go ahead and close it up again. So that is the copy. And what does that mean? That means that if I place my cursor at the end of the sentence, hit the enter key, I can paste that as many times as I want to. I'm just going to paste, 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 and so on. Control-C to copy, Control-V, sorry, Control-V is in Victor to paste that in there. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's talk about the difference between cut and copy. So when we just talked about when you copy something, you're making multiple multiple copies of it. Think about photocopying something. You're making multiple photocopies. If you cut something, you are moving it from one point to the other. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to take these first 3 items. See how I did that with my mouse in the left-hand margin? I just clicked and I pulled down, and I'm going to take the first 3. I'm going to change the color of those so we can distinguish between the two. And I'm just going to make those orange. So I'm going to cut these. Now, when I cut those, they also went to the clipboard. So now I have 2 items on the clipboard. I have it is Sunday, April 7th, and I have the 3, it is Sunday, April 7th. So I cut them from the top of my document, and I'm just gonna move down, moving right down in here, and I'm going to paste them. And now I just move them from one point to the other. You can move them from one document to another document. You can move it from Microsoft Word to PowerPoint. You can move them to different applications if you want to. It is a very user-friendly feature. So you have cut, copy, and paste. The other option in the format painter, or in the clipboard, excuse me, is the format painter. So I'm going to click inside of Sunday, and I'm going to click on the format painter. Now, what did that just do? It looked at Sunday and it said, okay, you're in Georgia, 16-point font. Your color is in purple, and I want to apply that to additional data that I have. So in other words, I don't want to have to highlight it, change it to Georgia to 16-point font size to the color purple. You can take the format painter and you can apply it to a word or as many words as you would like. Now, I only clicked on the format painter once, which allowed me to use it once. If I click inside, let's go ahead and select that. If I double click, it's going to allow me to apply this to as many options as I want to. So see how the format painter is not going away. Once you're done using the format painter, you can click on it or you can hit the escape key and it will turn it off for you. So the format painter is a very useful little tool, something that you should look into using if you're not currently. All right, so let me go ahead. Let's just clean this up a little bit. I'm going to delete some of this stuff. We'll go back to our original. It is Sunday, April 7th, and I'm going to select the line again. Over in the font group, we just talked about our clipboard group. We're going to move over to our font group. In the font group, you have thousands of fonts to choose from. If there is not a font that you want, you can add more. You can just go Google 1001 fonts. There's some free websites out there for you that you can download fonts. But I think that we have plenty here to deal with for today. So you'll note that all of the fonts are in alphabetical order. If I type in Times New Roman, it will take me to Times New Roman. So if you know what font you want, you don't have to sit here and scroll down through the fonts. That can be very time consuming. Might be kind of fun. Notice that it's also giving you a live preview. So when I hover my mouse over some of these fonts, that's a fun one. It's giving me a live preview of what it's going to look like, which is really nice. That feature started in Office 2007, and it's a real time saver as well. So I'm just going to go with Times New Roman. We've got that. You can increase or decrease the font size. It runs from 8 to 72. You can also come up here. Let's say that you're looking for 17, but it's not here. I can manually type in 17 and it will change my font size. Next to that, I have an uppercase A and a lowercase a. So I'm going to go ahead and just click on those. That will increase or decrease your font size in increments. So you can utilize those tools. Next to that, you have the ability of changing your case. So if you want to all be in lowercase, you can put it in lowercase. You can put it all in uppercase, which I think is very interesting because we tell people quite frequently that do not put things in uppercase because it's like you're yelling at someone, but yet it's an option in Microsoft Office. That's okay. I'm just going to capitalize each word. I'm going to do it in sentence structure. So I'm going to go sentence case and okay, I should know. See how those red lines, let's talk about those red lines for a second. Those red lines are telling me that I have either a spelling or a grammar error. In this case, we have a grammar error because Sunday and April should be capitalized. So that's what that red line is. Next to that, you have the ability to clear all the formatting. I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. It takes me back to my original that I typed in. It is Sunday, April 7th, 2024. Now I'm going to undo that because I want my Georgia 16-point, or no, Times New Roman 18-point and the purple back. So you can undo the Control Z. Control Z is in zebra is the undo. Control Y is the redo. So especially that Control Z, remember that because if you accidentally delete, I only have one sentence, not a big deal. But what if you had your entire paper highlighted and you hit the space bar or you hit another letter? It's going to delete your entire document. That Control Z can be your favorite friend. I frequently hit the wrong button, so I'm constantly doing Control Z. On the bottom row, you have bold, italic, underline. These are just like light switches. If I click on them again, it's going to turn those off. You have a strike through. That's something that I don't use. You have a superscripted, subscripted. Again, Microsoft Word does that for you automatically. Next to that, why isn't that coming up? I wonder why isn't that highlighted? I'll have to look at that. I don't know why it's not allowing me to use this tool, the text effects. No, that's all right. We'll come back to it. Next to that, you have the ability to highlight something. So the only time that I ever do that is when I want to emphasize something for someone. So you can go in, you can highlight, or you can change the font color, which we've already done. Let's go ahead. We'll just go to this nice blue, change it to a blue. All right, so that is the clipboard group and the font group. Next to that, you have the paragraph group. So you have the ability to bullet things. So let's go ahead and put in a list and we will bullet things. So let's see, let's just make a grocery list, I guess. Oops. Okay. So I just put a quick list in there. I'm going to go ahead and I am going to highlight my list. And I can come over here and I can apply bullets. So you've got several built-in bullets that you can use. That's pretty cool. I like that one. You can see what it looks like if you'd like. So you can utilize those bullets. There's different levels of bullets. So if I wanted, so let me go back and explain what I just did. I place my cursor after the word hamburger. I hit the enter key and the tab key, and it takes it into another level. So I'm just going to say 99% lean. So you can do different levels if you want to. If you don't like that bullet, you can go up and you can change it. You can tell it, to change it to another bullet. It's just what this bullet has as a sub bullet, but you can go in and change that. You can also define your own bullets, and I think that this is a lot of fun that you can define your own bullets. You can select from symbols, but you can go in and you can grab a picture if you want to, and you can define your own bullet. Oh man, what's going on here? The size of the request headers is too long. I have never seen this error before. Quite strange. Okay, well, we'll come back to that. So you can also number things if you want to. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I look at that, say, oh no, I've got ketchup in the cupboard. I don't need that. If I delete this, it's going to just renumber those for me. If I decide that I need to add another one, and okay, so now that went down to the same level, but I'm going to level out. I'm going to move back out. See, it added the 2, change chips to 3, change onion rings to 4. Maybe we need mustard. So that is the numbering. You also have the ability, let's go back up here to, it is Sunday, April 7th, to left align, to center, to right align, and to justify your document. Whatever you do, folks, it's going to default to the left align. Do not use your space bar and say, okay, yeah, I think that's centered on my page. You're going to run into all kinds of problems because it's not going to hold its spacing correctly. You can hit the tab key, it will tab it in 5 spaces. So if you're working on a paper and you need to tab in the paragraphs, you can hit tab and it will tab those in. All right, I'm just looking at some of the other options that we have. What I want to do is move on to one of the sheets that I sent you. So we're going to go into the MS practice exercise. So exercise 1, this has some different exercises in it that you can go through. We'll go through them together so that you know how to do it. It's got 15 different activities that we are going to complete. Okay, so read this document. If you make a mistake at any time in these series, remember the magical undo button. So I'm just gonna make some notes in here for you as we move along. So the keyboard shortcut for the undo button is Control Z. Control Z, and I'll make those a different color. So it's easier to see. Let's see what color do we want to make them. It's not a real vibrant purple, so we'll boldface it. Okay. All right. So Control Z is the magical undo button. Exercise 2. This file is it doesn't matter what version of Word it is. I thought that I took that out. It's a Word document with a name. The file should be saved on your folder or created. So how do I do that? I'm going to come up here to File, and I'm going to come down to Save As. So when I go to Save As, I'm just going to click on Browse. And if you are in the tech place, we're just going to say New Folder. And I'm going to put in there day 1 activities. So I created a new folder. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And I'm going to call this My MS Word Practice Exercise. Click on Save. And now it changed the name up here. So now you can see that the name is now My MS Word Practice Exercise. All right, exercise 3. Just to let you know, the Control S is the keyboard shortcut for save. There is not a keyboard shortcut for Save As. And I'm just going to come up here. We'll grab our format painter and we'll apply that same format to Control S. All right, exercise 3, copy the sentence and paste it in the box to the right. So I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to do a Control C to copy. I'm going to place my cursor over here. And I'm going to do a Control V as in Victor to paste it in there. Cut the second sentence and paste it in the box to the right. So I'm going to do a Control C and a Control V again. Highlight this third sentence and drag it. So what you can do is, if you want to move information from one place to another, you don't necessarily have to copy and paste it or cut and paste it. I can drag and drop it. So see, I did that very easily just by highlighting the information, hovering my mouse over it. I am holding down on my mouse, and I'm just going to drag it over. Now, when I say I'm clicking and holding down on my mouse, I am doing a left click. Many people ask me, what's the difference between a left click and a right click? The difference between a left click and a right click is that when you're left clicking, you're navigating. And when you're right clicking, you are bringing up a shortcut bar. So if you're a right clicker, that is fabulous. Let me go ahead and right click and show you what that is. Now, when I right click in Microsoft Word, specifically in this exercise, in this table, it's going to give me different options depending on where I am. If you're on your desktop and you right click, you're going to see a completely different options. So here is, cut, copy, your different pasting options. Oops, come here. Which we don't need to talk about right now. You can insert, because we're in this table, it will allow you to insert more rows, more columns. So that's what it is when you do a right click. Many people do a right click. Other people use the keyboard shortcut. It's 100% up to you what you want to do. All right, so that is exercise 3. Exercise 4, aligning text that we were just talking about. So I'm going to highlight this first sentence, align this sentence to the right. So we want to come to the paragraph group and click on the right. Then align this sentence to the center. So I'm going to center that. Align this sentence to the left. Well, it's already assigned to the left because it defaults to that. So line spacing, exercise 5 is really important as well. So line spacing, this is the first paragraph, change the spacing of the paragraph to 2.0. So I'm gonna highlight this paragraph. Now remember, I can select it by line, or I can triple click and it will select the entire paragraph. What do they want me to do? They want me to change it to 2.0. So I'm gonna come over here to the paragraph group, and it defaults to 1.115. I'm gonna move this to 2.0, boom. And there we have it. Change the second paragraph to 1.0. Let's get the whole paragraph though. So same thing, I'm gonna triple click, and then I'm gonna come up and I'm going to say 1.0 if I want to. Now, sometimes what will happen is it might default to 2.0 and you don't want that in there. You can either come up to the paragraph group and tell it that you want it to be 1.0, or you can tell it that you want no spacing. So underneath the styles group, you can tell it that you don't want any spacing. Just a little tidbit there above and beyond what the exercise 5 was talking to you about. Exercise 6, headers and footers. So what are headers and footers? Headers and footers are information that you want on every page in your document. So in this header, type your name, class, and date on 3 separate lines. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to move my mouse up to the top, and it doesn't have to be on the first page. It can be on any page it wants to. I'm going to double click, and that's going to open up my header. I have activated the header and the footer, to be honest with you, and my work area has been grayed out. So what they want us to do is add our first and last name, the class, tech in the workplace, and today's date, which is April 7th, 2024. Now, if you want to just create a line break, oops, April 7th, I don't know where the M came from. April 7th, comma, I guess was what I was trying to put in, and it put in a M. Hit the wrong key. Okay, so that does that. Now I'm gonna go down, and what they want us to do is in the footer, write the name of your favorite food. Use the alphabet style footer. Do not erase the page number. So this is, I don't think the page number is in here, but we'll put one in. No worries. So we're going to go down to, I went down to my footer, and I'm just gonna come over here to page number, and we want it at the bottom of the page. And it's going to come up here pretty soon and say, okay, where do you want it at the bottom of the page? And I want it to be on the right-hand side. So there is my page number. Now it's, I can also put, like door, and so it has the page number in there. And oh, I see what they wanted. This footer. Which one did they want us to use? Oh, alphabet style. Let's come over here and to the footer. I don't think the alphabet's, oh, maybe I have to scroll down. No, the alphabet style is not in my my version. No worries. We can use any style we want to. So when you're done, click on close header and footer, and you can see that on every page you have your header, and you have your footer, you have your header, and you have your footer. So as we work through this, as we add pages, it will continue to add the header and the footer on every page. Pretty cool little option there. Exercise number 7, delete all text for exercises 1 and 2. The final document will start with exercise 3. So we're going to come up and we're just going to delete this. I'm going to highlight all of that. I'm going to hit the delete key on my keyboard. And now we are starting with exercise 3. All right. Inserting columns using the data in exercise 5. create an exercise 5. Okay, so the next thing they want us to do is to insert, to create some columns. So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna go back up to exercise 5. I'm going to go to insert, and I'm looking for the columns. Thought it was underneath insert. Oh, here it is. Layout, sorry, columns, and we want 2 columns. So I just highlighted this information and it put this information in 2 columns for me. So if you have different sections and you want 2 different columns, you can certainly do that. I think if I force some line breaks down here, I'd like that to be all in. This to be in column 1. Nope, doesn't want to do that. Okay, so that's where you can insert some different columns. Using different styles, create this text in title style. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to move back to my home ribbon, and this is a title. So you can insert a title. Create this text with an intense reference. There is the intense reference. So you've got different types of styles in here. You can choose to use those or not. I don't typically use them a whole lot, but they are there for you to utilize. Exercise number 11, using word art. Oh, I'm sorry, number 10, let's go back up to number 10. Using a watermark. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to move back to the design ribbon. We're going to come all the way over here to page background, and we're going to go to watermark. Now you can see that these are probably the watermarks that you've seen most frequently. Confidential, do not copy, but you can create your own watermark. So you can come down here and say, click on custom watermark. You can tell it that you want it to be a text watermark, and the text is going to be rush. So this is, we are in a hurry, let's rush. So I'm going to go ahead and click on apply and click on OK or close, and there's our watermark. So you can put anything in there that you would like. Just going to take a short break here, see if there's any questions, comments. Okay. So using word art. So now let's go to the insert ribbon. We're going to go to the insert ribbon. We're going to come over here to word art. Create an 18-point font using this line of text. Okay, so we're just going to select this. And then first thing they want us to do, I guess, is to move this from 11 to 18. And then we're going to go back to the insert ribbon and we're going to go to word art. And you can look at all these different colors. You can always change that color if you decide that you don't like it going down the road. So you know, you can go in and you can change it if you want to. 18 point, they want that to be hyphenated, so it's saying A. So I just went up and I put a shape in this. Whoops, come here. See how the shape format disappears on me? If I deselect my word art, it's going to take that ribbon away. So if I select it, it comes back. So I can change the color in here if I'd like to. I'm just going to go ahead and highlight it again. Maybe I want this to be blue instead. All kinds of different options for you to play around with there. So you do have word art If you're making a flyer, or something, along those lines, you might want it to be, a little bit, fancier. So you've got, all these different options. See how that's got two different colors to it. So you've got your shape fill and you have your, text effects. And text fill. So let me go over here to text fill. Let's just make this white since I made my background blue. Let's see what that looks like. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and highlight that again. Maybe we want the text outline in there. And maybe we want to make that yellow. So now that I make that yellow, it goes in as a yellow. So that is using the word art. All right, so insert clip art. So what we're gonna do is maybe rather than insert clip art, I'm gonna come back over here to insert. And you have all kinds of different options now. This is a little bit of an older activity that I found I haven't used it in a long time. But let's look at this. So let's just say that we're going to insert, let's just say we're going to insert a picture. Change this up a little bit. So to insert a picture, you have pictures. You have pictures on your own device. You have pictures on your mobile device that you can select. You have stock images. What are stock images? Stock images are just generic pictures that you can utilize. Microsoft has purchased these. Now you're not going to find something like if you put in, maybe you put in basketball. If you put in basketball, you're going to find a basketball. If you put in a specific team, if you put in, the Nebraska Cornhuskers basketball, you're not going to find that. This is stock images. They are built into Microsoft Word. But if you are looking for something specific, maybe something team specific, you can go back to pictures and you can go to online pictures. Microsoft Office has the ability to search within their applications without going outside of them. So you don't have to open up another tab. You don't have to open up another application if you don't want to. You simply can just go to Bing. So so Bing is a search engine that Microsoft owns. Okay, so I put in Nebraska. We've got some pictures here. I can just select whichever ones I want. I can click on insert and it will insert that picture for me. Now it came in very large. Also, when I inserted the picture, you'll see that it came up with the picture format. So I can come over and I can reduce the size of this picture if I want to. If I type in a 2 for the height and hit the enter key, it's automatically going to adjust the width. I can come up here to picture styles and I can select a different picture style. It'll give me the live preview. Let's say that I want a frame on it. That's a little bit much. Okay, that's nice. So we'll put this frame on it. Then we can change the color of the frame. So you can see where you can be very time consuming because there's lots of different options, especially in the picture format. When you do use Bing, it brings in this text. I usually just delete that. And that way I don't have to deal with it. All right, exercise number 13, the page color. Insert a light shade of any color. So we're going to go back to the review ribbon and, not the review ribbon, the design ribbon, excuse me. And we're going to come all the way over here. We're going to go to page color. So this is where you're going to set your page color. And so just find a page color that you like. Maybe just a light blue is kind of nice. And what's going to happen with this is if you go to print, it will not print this background color. So don't worry, you're not going to be using up all of your color ink on a background color. And exercise number 14, insert a page border. So if I come over here to page borders, and I can say, now this is fun. We've got, you can put in a box, you can put in a shadow, but look at this. We have art that we can put in. So let's just go ahead and choose an apple and click on OK, and we have an outline of an apple. So we put a border on that looks like the apples. Last but not least, option number 15, print preview. So I'm going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Print, and it will give me a print preview of what this is going to look like. So here is my document. This is what it's going to look like in if I want a hard copy of it. So clearly I want to make a few changes here because I can't see my headers are very hard to see because of my border and so on. But I'm just coming down here to the bottom. I'm clicking. You can see this is page 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, and 4 of 4. So we went from a 2-page document this morning to a 4-page document. Pretty cool. So that is your print preview. I'm just going to go ahead and save that again. This is my MS Practice exercise. And we're going to go ahead and move on. Actually, before we do that, let's take a quick break. So I'm going to go ahead and I will stop the recording. We're going to go ahead and pause that recording, and we'll take a 5-minute break. So it is 12:05. We will resume at 12:10. All right, I have started the recording up again. We'll go ahead and get started. It is 12:10. So what I'd like to do is to bring up the document, A Guide to Avoiding Microaggressions in the Workplace. In this document, you can see that we have about 3 pages here of information, maybe even more than that. We're going to go through and we are going to format this to our liking. So what I'd like you to do is go ahead and select A Guide to Avoid Microaggressions, and we're just going to put the heading style on that. Now, because the workplace goes over a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to center that. Maybe even put microaggressions on the second line. So I force that line break. I'm going to go ahead and backspace that and do that again. I force that line break by placing my cursor before the M and hitting the Enter key. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to come down, and I want to go ahead and indent each one of my paragraphs. So we have 2 paragraphs, and then we have another heading. So we're going to go ahead and make that one. This is a heading. We're going to make this a heading 2. So what are microaggressions? And then we're going to go ahead. We're just going to use the tab key to tab in microaggression examples. That will be heading 2 as well. Micro assaults. Those will be a heading 3. Whoops, I'm not didn't do my indent here. Indent and micro assaults. Indent. And what I'm doing to indent is I'm just hitting the tab key. And then micro assaults is going to be a heading 3 as well. Making sure I've got all my indents here. So there's an indent. Now here's a list. What can we do with this list? Let's go ahead and highlight this list. And we can come up and we can bullet the list. So let's just bullet that list to make it stands out a little bit more. Then you go to in all cases and hit the tab key. This isn't tabbing consistently. There we go. Tab. Micro invalidations, again, it's going to be a heading 3. You want to insert or tab over each one of these. Microaggressions in the workplace is going to be a heading 3. How to avoid microaggressions is going to be a heading 3. Just making sure that we're tabbing all of these in. Here's another list. With this list, let's do this. Let's go ahead and number this list. So we have a numbered list. It's also telling us that number 1, provide diversity and inclusion training for all managers and employees, not just the human resource manager. Let's go ahead and put a period there because that's what the blue line is indicating. that, hey, you're missing some punctuation here, so I'm just gonna put in those periods. And we've got another paragraph here, so we're going to indent that. What to do if you committed a microaggression. We're just gonna make that a heading 3 as well. And then we'll tab and tab and tab and tab and tab. The challenge confronting microaggressions. I'm just gonna go ahead and put a heading 3 on that. And we're going to tab in. And here's another list, so you can bullet those. You can choose a different bullet if you'd like to. You know, play around with this, see what you prefer. Here's another one, how to respond. That's going to be a heading 3. Ensure that I'm indenting my paragraphs here. All right, so address the individual. Now we're going down, we're going to have a heading 4s. Address the group, a heading 4. Contact your HR department, a heading 4. All right, so that's just kind of going through and showing you some of the different options that you have using the styles in the headings. The next thing that I'm going to move on to is let's look at a mail merge. I'm going to bring up some documents here. Just give me a minute and I will get those up. Okay, so what I have here is a letter. Fundraising Corporation Incorporated, 123 Main Road, Big City, State 12345. So we have Dear, but you can see that this is, like I said, it's a form letter. Dear blank. Thank you for agreeing to participate in our yearly fundraising event and donating the following item to be auctioned off at this year's event. Item you donated. Now, all of this information is in a database, or actually it's in Microsoft Excel. We're using Microsoft Excel as a database. And what we're going to do is we are going to load that information into Microsoft Word so that we can utilize it and create just a mail merge rather than sitting here and manually putting in each one of these items. So item you donated, item donation, item value, and category. We provided you with blank tickets for use to attend this fundraising event. We are looking forward to a wonderful evening filled with fun events. Thank you for your support. Respectfully, Miss Kylie Bennett, fundraising chairperson. All right. So the next thing we're going to do is I'm just going to show you this document. Sorry, I know I'm looking away from the camera. Let me bring this over. Here's a document that I had prepared. So it's got the donor ID. We're not going to use all of these. It's got the first name, their last name, their address, their city, their state, their zip code, their phone number, the item they donated, the item value, the item category, and the number attending the event. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up. I just wanted to show that to you. And before we get started, we're going to move from the home ribbon over to the mailings ribbon. So on the mailings ribbon, we're going to go ahead, note that most of this is grayed out. And that's grayed out because we haven't uploaded any data to it quite yet. That's what we're going to do next. So when I go to start my mail merge, I'm going to go over here to the grouping start mail merge. And I'm going to go to select recipients. And you can type a new list, but I don't want to do that because I already have them. So I'm going to use an existing list. When I go into use an existing list, then it wants me to browse out and say, okay, where is this list? This list is in my DoSpace presentations and Microsoft Word. There it is. Okay. Now here is my data, mail merge data, mail merge data. All right, just want to make sure I got the right file, and I did. Okay, you see how all these are available now? They're not grayed out. It says, okay, what do you want to do? So I'm going to come up to the top of my page, and I'm just going to click, and I can put in an address block. So remember when we were just looking at that, it had the person's first name, last name, address, city, state, zip. We could put those all in manually one at a time, but Microsoft Word has an address block, so let's just put that in there. When you click on that, it says, okay, how formal do you want this? Here's an example. Here is, you can have just their first name, you can have the first name and the last name, you can have Mr. and Mrs. So depending on what you're doing, if you're looking at this for a wedding or something that is a little bit more formal, you might want to put that into your address block. But for us, this looks pretty good right here. So it looks like we got the first name, the last name, the address, city, state, zip. Now, if you don't see everything in this area, maybe maybe something's missing, like the state or the zip code. You're going to come down here to match fields, and you're going to make sure that these fields are matched. So here are the fields from the data that we just loaded. If it doesn't match last name, like see how it says address 1, I had to go in and I had to tell it to put in the address because that's a match. If it doesn't say address 1, it's not going to match it. So it has to match the field codings from Microsoft Word. If it doesn't, see postal code, we use zip code. No big deal, but you have to go in and match these up. After you do it, click on remember this matching, click on OK. That looks really good. So we're just going to click on OK. And it simply gives us an address block at this point in time. Now, if you want to preview the results, I can just come up here and click, and it says, okay, here's what it's going to look like. That looks fabulous. So I'm just going to close that back up. I'm going to place my cursor down here after the deer and the comma. And I'm going to go to my merge fields, and this is going to be, I want their first name, space. You have to manually put in the spaces. So first name, last name. Item that you donated. We'll come down here and click. Item that you donated. Item donated. Item value and category. Now, this is not going to pull the $sign, so I'm going to put in a $sign, and and then I'm going to go back up and I'm going to put in item value. And then I'm going to put in a couple more spaces, and maybe I'm just going to put in the item category right there. How many tickets do we want? Going to come down here and click, and number attending, put that in there. Now let's come here and click on preview results, see what we've got. Man, does that look slick. I barely had to do anything at all. Now my example only gave you what, maybe 10 different listings, but you might have 50, 100, 150, you know, 1,000 different letters that you want to send out. This is much, much faster than trying to do this by hand or typing it in manually. Hopefully, wherever you're getting your data from, it can export into Microsoft Excel and load very quickly. Okay, so we previewed, it looks fabulous. We're going to come over here and talk about the finish and merge for a minute. So if I come over here to finish and merge, you can edit the individual documents, you can print the documents, or you can send via email. Now you can only send via email if you have a Outlook account. It does not acknowledge other emails. I've tried to do it. I have never been successful with it. But if you have an Outlook account, you can say, okay, send via email, and we'll send via email. You can print documents, which means that you're going to send them straight to the printer. What I'm going to do is I'm going to tell it that I want to edit individual documents. That's going to open up another Microsoft Word file. It's going to be called letters1. So let's do that. Edit. I want all of them. We'll click on OK. And here it is, letters1. So on page 1, there's my first letter. Then I can scroll down. There's my second letter. See how slick that is? That's just really, really easy for the end user to do. So if a mail merge is something that you might use, I hope that was a valuable little lesson for you. All right, let me go ahead and just close that up. No, I don't need to really save that. Close this up. Don't need to save that either. Okay, whoops, I didn't mean to close all of them. Let's get a new one. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is the developer ribbon. So how did I get that developer ribbon? First of all, you're going to come over here to File. You're going to come all the way down to Options. It's going to populate this window for you. And you're going to come down and you're going to click on Customize Ribbon. When you do that, go to your main tabs and make sure that there's a check mark in Developer. Okay, and then when you can just click on OK, and you should see your developer ribbon. Why do we want the developer ribbon? Because I'm going to show you something that I use a lot in Microsoft Word, and that is recording a macro. If you are in a scenario where you use maybe the same greetings, the same salutation multiple times, you can create a macro. So what exactly is a macro? A macro is something that you can create or develop in your own on your PC. You can select it. So what we're going to do is we're going to record. I'm going to click on record macro, and I'm going to start typing. It will record what I'm doing. Okay, so I'm going to come up here. I'm going to click on record macro, and don't worry about it doesn't pick up any sound. There's no voice. It also doesn't. You could do this as fast or slow as you want to. When you run the macro, it's going to run just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and tell it that I want it to assign. This is going to be my information. That's what I'm going to call this. And I'm going to have it do a keyboard. Oops, invalid procedure. Okay, well, we don't want you to be upset with us, so let's try that again. Let's go with button. Nope, I don't want that. Let's see. Stop recording. Okay, record macro. Okay, so what I did was, let me go ahead and start that over. I'm just going to go ahead and stop. I'm going to tell it that I want to record a macro. I'm going to tell it this is my my signature. I'm gonna tell it that I want it to be a keyboard, what's happening? Oh, invalid procedure name, I know what's going on. Okay, let's record the macro again. You can't put a space in there, that's why it's yelling at me. So my signature, now I better let us click on keyboard, there we go. When you're creating your keyboard shortcut, be very careful not to use a shortcut that you're currently using. So I'm going to pick something like Control J for my first name. That's not going to interfere with other keyboard shortcuts. I'm going to click on Assign and close. Okay, now it's recording what I'm doing. See how my mouse face changed? I'm just going to go ahead and type in my information. Okay, so there's an example. I'm going to stop the recording. And now if I do a Control J, it'll put that in there for me. So it recorded what I did. I'm just going to go ahead. I'll delete all of this. I'm just going to do a Control J. I can go to another document and put this in. It's remembered in Microsoft Word. So let's do another one. I'm going to delete those. I'm going to come up and tell it that I want to record a macro. I'll just call this one an example, and we'll go to the keyboard shortcut. This time I'm going to say Control Shift J, so we'll have a capital J. Click on Assign, click on Close. I'm going to go back to the Home ribbon. I'm going to put in, let's see. Okay, so I typed that in. Now I'm going to make some more edits to it though. Let's make it a little bit bigger. And change the color. We'll make it purple. Maybe we'll make it boldface and italic. Reduce the size of it. All in one. Okay, that looks good. We're gonna come over here to developer. I'm gonna go ahead and stop the recording. We'll just delete this. I'm gonna do Control Shift J. It didn't record all the fancy stuff. I wonder why. Let's go into macros and find out. Huh. So I call that example. Let's just run that. There we go. Okay, now it worked. So you can run those. You can go to macros and you can run those if you want to. If you want to delete them, I don't even know what this almost is, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete it. Sure you want to delete it? Yes, I am. Assessment, delete. Yes. Example, we can keep that one. Info, I use that one. I don't know what this M2 is, so I can delete that. I can delete all these other little macros that are in here. We don't need to save them. Okay, so I get that. So that's just an example of a real simple macro that you can put into Microsoft Word. Some different options for you to think about. All right, we have covered an awful lot of stuff this afternoon, folks. I appreciate you joining me. Again, if you do have any questions, feel free to send me an email at jdospace@gmail.com. As always, thank you for the DoSpace for all of the great things that they do for the greater Omaha area. Have a fantastic Sunday, and I hope to see you next week, folks. Thank you. Have a great day.